YouTube. So I just got some yummies at Rancheritos. No food coming, sorry. But I'm doing a Let's Talk as I'm walking home. I'm gonna go eat some other stuff. Let me get this bag held a little bit right because I just don't want it tipping, as is usually the case. There we go. I think I got it good enough. Well, actually, I'll go. Yeah, this is, nope. I'm not holding it like that. That's not working. How am I going to do this? This is awkward. So we'll get to subject here as soon as I get myself situated. I guess these bags are pretty strong. I have walked home with Rancheritos before, so if it does tip, I mean, it should be good in the bag. So recently I watched a video. Oh, and I want to say, the last time that I did a Let's Talk about something, I said I was going to go read more stories and look up. It was that Reddit thing about the juvenile camps, the one that I talked about. I didn't look back on that, and I might not, I don't know. So I'm going to mention at some point that I probably want to do more research on this, but that's not a guarantee. I'm not going to guarantee that I will do more research. But I know if I do, my opinion will change, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing for my opinion to change. I'm just throwing out there that I don't know all the pieces to the puzzle. I don't know everything that goes on. But, so I watched a video by the YouTube channel Cracked. A little bit of a warning for you guys coming from my clean channel, that, it is, well, there were two bits of story short. I'll have it linked in the description below. If it's not, bug me in the comments. And that will be once this gets, once this turns into a, archived video. I forget what it was called right now, so I can't link you to it. Like, say, go, here's the title, go watch this 1 second while I get my, I need to just get my, light out because it's dark and I want to be safe. So, come on. This guy, just down for a second here. Long story short, he's on the subway, and this guy who is been going around and stabbing people with a knife, he is on the subway as well, and he starts attacking him, and there are two cops there, but they don't do anything. And then it was another guy who we called Napkin Man who saved him with napkins, because after he took down the bad guy, because the cops were just waiting inside of the locked conductor's room of the train. So after he took out the bad guy, then they, oh, what's the word? Then the cops came out and arrested the guy once he had him knocked down. This after he'd been stabbed a few times with a knife. Then they finally came out and arrested the guy, and all they said was, "You can get up now, he's gone." And Napkin Guy comes over and helps him, and he passes out, and he's not happy, and so he sues the court, because the cops told some completely different story and whatnot. And what turns out happening is, I think he got hurt the second time he went for a case in the court, and only the second time. And he didn't win because there was, we're doing this. There was a case, I forget where it was and who, and in that case they said this woman, her father, or no, sorry, her husband, or no, her ex-husband, who didn't have custody rights, came and took their kids, and then they ended up getting killed by him. Ooh, there's even cops doing something over that way behind the other side of my phone. And so they ended up, they died, and so what ended up happening, they passed a new law that it's not police officers' job to defend you. Like, what? Who came up with that? That is stupid. If you watch cop shows, that's what cops are made out to be. That's what the police force was created for in the first place. And I don't want to hate specifically on individual cops here, because I know that a lot of it, some of it is the higher up management not doing a good job. And some of it, that lady was out too far, I had to walk around her. Ugh, scary. But, and so some of it is individual cops saying, I'm going to do this, and it's not in the rule book, or they make not a great decision. Okay, some of it. And some of it is sometimes the upper management isn't great either, and so that causes issues. So I know it's not individual cops, and I'm not trying to specifically hate on cops here. The individual cops, okay? It's different from case-to-case basis, but that is stupid. That's the point. That's the whole reason that cops were created, to help protect and defend, to keep the law. There are reasons that cops pull you over for speeding, right? And there's a reason that the speed limit was set in the first place. Speed limit was set because it's what they found to be the safest to travel that passage with the number of cars and the people walking around. There's a reason that neighborhoods are 25, and if they're even more condensed and they're 15 miles an hour, you don't want to smack into a kid who's running out on the road because they don't hear or see you. Seriously. Just, no. I think it's stupid. Like, really, really stupid. Now, I kind of understand why they might do something like this, because I don't know more details on that case, but it could have been something like, we are quite literally have our hands full. We can't tell them that we have cops out after these other guys. We've been searching for them for a while, but all of our cops are out. You know, we can't get to them right now. It's a possibility for what happened with a case with the mom who lost her kids. So there's a chance that happened, okay? And then, so they made that to kind of, they made that to cover themselves. They wanted to, just cover themselves up for in the future, so that if that happens, they don't, get like sued and have a whole bunch of legal issues up the wazoo because they couldn't make it out there because they literally quite literally had their hands full. And again, I want to say I'm not an expert at this. I don't know all the details of this, but what's the word? So something that might be in consideration. What I think should have been done in that case, if it was the case that if it was the case that they couldn't send somebody out there because they were all busy, then they should say something like in court. They say, "Hey, Your Honor, we were busy with cops everywhere running around. We have proof that they were running around. This wasn't a case where we were sitting at the office trying to piece evidence together for, this guy we've been trying to get for months. And we could have sent a few people out to go check it out, We were quite literally had our hands full. And we're going to work to improve our system in the future." That's what I think should be done. And then as far as improvements goes, you need to look at it and say, is that a one-time, was it just random that we had 5 guys out there that night that we needed to catch? Or is it a regular reoccurrence around that time that you have enough, crime and stuff going on that you need to have more on the force? One-time thing, then you just try and be more efficient. Say, what can we do to speed up things, make our process better? Think about a little more about working with what you have instead of, you know, but if it's a case of it's reoccurring, then you might need to think about more resources. And I recognize more resources is a tricky thing. It's, especially when you consider that maybe it's like only during July for their area that you have a higher number of cases where they need to send cops out to go after people. It's like, for whatever random reason in July, all the different burglars decide to go rob everywhere. They all decide to come out of hiding and do a robbing spree. So, and then the rest of the time you don't need as many cops as you need like that 1 week or so. Situations like that are really tough and tricky. So in that, you know, I can see you might not be able to, because like, let's say you only needed 2 extra cops and you would be perfectly good, everything would be just like normal. Okay, so what are those 2 extra cops going to do during the rest of the time? You might be able to have some people that are like an on-call kind of a thing, but they still have to do something, especially if they need to provide for themselves. I don't think it's very often that you're going to find somebody who's semi-retired and doesn't need to make money. They have enough retirement that they can spend time with grandkids and have fun at home until the police station calls them and says, "We're really busy, can you come help out?" Trying not to spill my food here. That's the thing, you know. It's kind of tough. For if it is like I said, where they had their hands full, great. If not, if there was some other excuse, I say it's kind of sort of dumb, and I'm still wondering why. Why is that a thing? Now in Utah, where I am, the police force, it sounds a lot better than the police force that he made out to be. Like, there's also a higher concentration of nice people out here in Utah. Part of that is because Mormons are out here, kind of Mormon Central up in Salt Lake City. I'm a Mormon, no shame in saying that whatsoever, but part of it, I think, is people out here are nicer in general. But if you guys go, it's on Wattpad. I think if you search Cool Shows 101, you'll find it. If not, then I don't know what to tell you. Or search Caleb Rogers on the site Wattpad. No, my Google site. If you Google Cool Shows 101 and you go to my Google site, then from there you want to go to the books page, and then from there you want to navigate to my Wattpad page, and you want to read the story "The Disease of Planet Bees." I set this story in New York, and according to my mom, the police officers, I made them too nice. But I didn't know any otherwise. I would think that police officers should be nice, but apparently elsewhere in the world they're not, and I've kind of found that out by watching that video and others. They're, like I said earlier, he's laying there after being stabbed multiple times, and all the cop says, "You can get up now, he's been apprehended." And that just makes me wonder, like, what would happen if he died then? Okay, yeah, it would still be the fault of the guy that stabbed him, but, like, if the cops don't want to touch him, well, then who would clean up his body? They'd get probably somebody else to do it that's not their rank, because they can do it. It's their job, not mine. Abstinence from the hard work. And I don't think Napkin Man would even do it, but because after Napkin Man comes over and actually helps his wounds, then he wakes up in the hospital, and my goodness, what is going on? What are we coming to? Like, I haven't said this recently, but I've had the thought every once in a while, and this is not a serious thought because I know I couldn't do it, but like, and also because I don't like turbulence, but I thought move somewhere else outside of the US maybe. I thought, like, there's these it looks like a flying saucer, okay? Look up flying saucer shaped boathouse. Probably will find it on Google. But it's living space, garden space. You could basically, one second. There is a Coke here. I'm going to throw it away at home and get me some Coke points from the cap. But you could practically, pretty much live on that thing out on the ocean, like full-time life. You live on the ocean now, is the thing, is what it's about. I thought, okay, give me that, and then string a wire across the ocean to the nearest bit of land so I get internet connection, preferably a US internet connection, because I want to access all the same things that I could when I was living in the US. And then, other than, the only thing I don't like, well, there's a few issues with that. That's for another time, save it for another time. But I will say that I've thought about that, and it's like, yeah, dude, just do that and move away from corrupt US government, 100%. And not everybody in the government is corrupt, but there's a lot of issues going on, and this just makes me kind of worried. We are coming towards the last days, towards the second coming. But seriously, if we have police officers, their job should be to protect and defend people. Because why else do we have cops? Seriously, what's the point? And out here in Utah, I would say cops definitely are a lot nicer. The stories that I read about cops out here, like, the few stories that I've heard about cops that have been killed out here, to me, it sounds like sounds like a nice guy. That's a guy that I would like to maybe have known or have helped me. Nice guy. When I've heard about cops elsewhere and seen videos of them elsewhere, and I think might have heard one or two stories of a cop dying somewhere else, it's like, that guy wasn't thinking very smart. Doesn't sound like he did the right thing. I'm not saying he should have died, but I'm just saying it sounded like he didn't do the right thing and wasn't thinking complete. What exactly is going on? I don't know. It bugs me. And sorry for the poor camera work, but it kind of sort of bugs me, and I don't like it. I'm gonna put this down so I can put my bottle on my belt pouch. Yeah, but definitely out here they do seem a lot nicer, but that's part of that is a side effect of people just kind of being nicer out here. And people out here really are nice. Like, I work at the dollar store, okay? And we get quite a bit of shoplifting at the dollar store. But it's like, you know, a lot of people, they're buying themselves a bite to eat. They're going back and they're grabbing 2 frozen meals or some diapers, and both me and some of my managers agree, you know, they could probably find somebody who's willing to loan them $2 so that they can get some diapers or a bite to eat. People are nice around here like that. It's a nice place. So cops definitely, I would say, around here are a lot nicer. And I'm not going to guarantee that for every cop, okay? I do not say all our cops are perfect. There is a chance somewhere that, you know, some police officer might not be thinking right, even inside of Utah. It can happen. And I'm not saying that's guaranteed to happen either. But it just has me worried and wondering, like, I think the police out here would actually defend and wouldn't do any of the stuff that was told in that story, but wonder why we even have them elsewhere. If that's not their job, then what is? Why do we have emergency responders to call in and tell them about stuff. It almost seems to me like, let's just take glory for ourselves and like arrest the bad guy in the easiest way possible. So yeah, I'm gonna stop here. I don't have much else to say, and my opinions, I'm sure, will change as I find out more evidence. This is something that does kind of have me curious. I don't know if I'm gonna look it up soon, but I probably, take a little bit of time out of watching what I like on YouTube, do some research on this. Not a lot, but some. I don't know. It does have me a little bit heated too, and I don't want to specifically offend anybody, but at the same time, it's also kind of tricky when you state some facts. Like, I will say it is a fact that sometimes the police in that area as a whole have an issue, and sometimes it's just that one person that's not great. I've seen some things on YouTube. I highly say, kind of respect your officers, be extra nice to them, and they're more likely to be nice to you, kind of a thing. Just treat them extra nice. One of my friends said that, what's the word? Yeah, he said, he said it's supposed to be that you're innocent until proven guilty, but now it's turned into you're guilty until proven innocent. So don't go out and do stupid things, especially in these times. Just be nice to police officers. Things are going to work out a lot better for you in the end, I guarantee it. And I don't know. Maybe write senators, congressmen. I'm not sure what can be done. I don't want to organize any protests or anything on this. I think it is dumb. I think something does need to be done. But at least for me, I'm kind of sort of in a state where it hasn't quite affected me yet. Like I said, the police around here are nice. But I'm also living at my parents' house. I do have a job at the dollar store, but I don't have to pay rent. I'm saving for a mission. I'm in a good situation. So, especially when Obama became president, I didn't fully understand all the implications of the things that he was doing. And so my viewpoint was, as long as I can walk and I didn't have a job back then either. That was well before I was even thinking about a job anywhere. But my viewpoint was, if I can go to the toy store with Grandma's birthday money that she sent me in the mail and buy some toys and candy without getting arrested, then I'm okay. But now that I'm older, I really see there's a bigger picture to it. There's a lot more to it, especially with the debt raising, and it's gonna be a lot harder for us to pay it, and these are all kind of topics for another time. So I'm gonna cut it here on this kind of sort of somber note. Kind of hits me in the heart. Stay safe out there, guys. And just hope that something will change. Because it is not cool what that guy in the video had to go through.